Back to Minds Back for the second episode of the series Banning the Burqa. We're just gonna have a little discussion here. I'm here with my guests
Ish
and
Coach Design.
and we're just gonna answer a few of the questions you guys have posed.
We don't even wear the burqa. You're not looking at who they are. You're trying to understand what they think. You really get to know that person who they are because you're not focused on their looks or how they're dressed or you are in that manner. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
But when you're in a conversation with them,
It's about
that's
that
completely
person,
irrelevant.
yeah.
It's literally about that person.
Yeah.
What they're saying, because that's the only form of communication that's coming out. Really,
So
their
would you
words,
say
their
on, like,
thoughts.
the opposite side, like a lot of people say communication, seeing someone's face is an important thing. Would you actually say your communication in that sense was better?
In an intellectual sense, completely.
Yeah.
And I think that's what modern societies aspire to in a way, having an educated society.
On
what you wear, but what you think.
Yeah.
Completely. But of course, in an intellectual sense, completely it enhances it. But sometimes people want to be interactive, if you know what I mean.
You want to see what I found.
Yeah, you want to see.
So
what
if
you
I
dressed
say,
at,
oh, you look really nice today.
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you look really nice today.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can see that's something that's
I think for some people, I am convinced that they honestly struggle. Like, they will see someone, and it's nice of you to say you're able to see past it and intellectually engage with someone. But I think for some people, it is a lot. It's very difficult.
Completely agree.
And I think the way the media has emphasized the situations around religion and half the people who don't seem to just don't understand why people wear burqas. Other people who don't like the movement, don't like such religious people, that don't understand the meaning behind it. People just think you're just wearing it. When I said previously, it means a lot to some people, and I think it's not fair for you to come up at me on Twitter saying you don't like this when you don't understand the morals behind.
So would you say there's, not for everyone obviously who doesn't like it, but would you say there's some kind of ignorance behind the response to it, that it's feared because it's unknown? It's something you haven't taken the time to interact with and learn about. One of the first questions we got was, do you think that this ban on the burqa is a temporary ban? Now, even though it's been around since 2011, do you guys think it's something that's going to end or that's going to stay around for a long time?
You want to start, Coach?
Yeah, let's go. I think personally it will depend on how far people's reactions go, because a lot of the time I feel as if laws and stuff like that, they may be enforced, they may be there, however it depends on people's responses to them. The ban of the burqa, we won't go into my opinion just yet, but I feel as if people continue to almost take an interest in it, to find out how it's going, where it's going, how it started, then I don't think it can last forever.
Exactly. I mean, to further add to that, I mean, the reason why the burqa thing exploded so much is because people finally, after such a long time, they took an interest in it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the reason being is because of the platforms that were available at that time. Because, as you say, it started in 2011, but no one actually took an interest. And the reason being is because the platforms weren't there for communication, being able to interact with everyone, if you know what I mean. Whereas I think there needs to be more platforms like Twitter, so you can get as much as engagement as possible.
Or platforms like Minds Map.
Exactly, Minds Map as well. I agree. Minds Map is a brilliant platform which allows us to bring come here and talk about the issue, discussion. Yeah, exactly.
So if you watched episode 1, you would have seen one of the questions was, why has it taken 5 years for us to discuss whether it's right or wrong? And I think Ish and Kosha just answered that perfectly. We now have the mediums and the platforms to be able to discuss whether we think something's right or wrong.
Yeah.
Which is why this time around it's such a loud response and everyone knows about it, and we can all.
If you don't know, I don't know what you're doing with your time. For some people, just going out with the burqa on, it takes some people a long time to work towards that.
Yeah.
And that's why, and I'll tell you why I think the ban in France, if we're speaking directly from France, it might stay. Because I think France feels as if they've been targeted. And I think it would be silly of us to ignore the terrorist attacks they've received and all of that. And that fear, I feel, also has emphasised the ban. Fair enough, it's been there since 2011, But I think
it's
now
recent attacks that
and now that's why it's so big.
Let's start with the burqa itself. Do you think the burqa makes it difficult for people to integrate into society, for people to welcome people into their society?
It's a bit mixed, because the first thing is when you see a woman wearing burqa, it stands out, because, and the reason it stands out is because you've never seen anyone else do it. You know, it's completely out of the blue. But what about other changing social attitudes? You know, nowadays you see people dressing in in a way some consider in an eccentric manner, and that's because people all come from different cultures and they want to express themselves however they want to. You know, I mean, one of the biggest controversy in line with this topic is when Lady Gaga wore that meat dress. It's completely absurd. Lady Gaga is notorious for wearing things out of the blue, but she's expressing herself. You know, I personally think it was quite strange, but who the hell am I to tell Lady Gaga to what she wants to do? And she has her freedom. She can do whatever she wants.
It shouldn't have an impact on the way but it does.
On the flip side, not saying this is my opinion, just trying to get an opposite, like a balance view. Can you guys understand how, if you've never grown up around it before, you get to 30 years old and suddenly there's a lot of people around you, let's say not in Swindon or Newbury as such, but in big cities like London, Birmingham, where there is a lot more people wearing burqas, can you understand why that change is difficult?
Of course, yeah. And
so can you understand the response to
the response to it?
You feel like suddenly, whoa, everything's changed. You know, because people, you know, when things happen slowly. I think the best thing, which is probably one of the funniest things I saw as well, was on Twitter, probably the most famous thing after the backlash of the whole burqa thing with the policeman, was there was a picture in France in the 1950s where a woman was on the beach and she was wearing a bikini. At the time, a lot of people didn't wear bikinis and stuff, and a police officer came to her, and the police officer fined that woman for wearing the bikini, for showing her body. Fast forward 60, 70 years, today, the exact same situation happened, but the opposite. A woman is being fined and being forced for covering up and taking your clothes off, which is so ironic because it's coercion, it's oppression, and it's so laughable because France is the same country that gave America the Statue of Liberty, saying that, hey, you're free just like us, you're free from British tyranny. It's hilarious. The irony is ridiculous.
You can't just keep changing. You
can't. Changing your stance as it goes on.
If you say something and you're so against, I'm not so against, you're so for it, you better stay there. Don't come and just start making that's not for us.
Do you guys think that the ban will prevent integration in some sense into society?
Yes, absolutely. Because first, with a ban, it exclusively targets a minority, and by doing so, it secludes that section of society.
If I say that the ban includes things like balaclavas, you know, the things people put on their heads when they're about to steal, hoods, anything that covers the face.
Okay. It's also about enforcing it. Like, if some guy is walking around in France and he's got balaclava on, he's probably going to take it off and put it away, or if he's wearing a hat or something like along these lines, he has a very strong chance of getting away. But with the burqa, it's so visible, and anyone can wear a balaclava. You can wear it, I can wear it, anyone can wear it. But a burqa, random people wouldn't wear it. Yeah. Only a very specific minority would wear it.
So
I strongly suggest that it is done. The ban was brought on for a political reason.
Yeah, against the minority, with a little bit of blanketing on the side.
That's what I think.
Okay.
So my idea is it's entirely politically motivated.
Okay, Kasha, what do you think?
Yes, I think personally, I think they sat on whatever they sat on and discussed it, and then added in these extras. Because why? Like, it makes sense why they've done it. So it makes them look as if they're not being what's the word? As if they're not
tyrannic.
Pardon?
Islamophobic?
Yeah, exactly. Or they're not trying to target a specific group. But I personally think, integration-wise, once you put anything in there, it's hard for people who wear burqas to kind of be like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's not gonna happen. So of course there's gonna be some like clashes in there, more so than there are currently.
That's a huge thing as well, that people are classing the French people and people who wear burqas as different. I know you didn't do that intentionally, I know, but a lot of people are classing people who wear burqas and French people, or French people and Muslims as two different people. And there's a lot of Muslims wearing burqas saying, I'm French, was born in France, 5 last generation of family are French, so I am French. So you know that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, I must have been actually step up.
No, that wasn't just something I...
You can't like tackle or go for a minority, because believe it or not, we are all very different, and there are so many things that I see that I'm not comfortable with. But am I gonna start writing to whoever, like, let's make a law because I don't like it? And that's the issue. Like, those who are in power have so much power that they're changing so much. Because now I personally believe, like the ban on the burqa, if the public were given, I think we talked about how Twitter is a space for people to say their opinions and stuff like that, but it's just saying your opinion sometimes. But I feel as if the public were given more of an opportunity to raise their concerns in such a way that they'd be heard, I feel as if the ban on the burqa would be there anymore.
But if we switch on this side, I think the reports are also saying that this is the burkini, so not the burqa as such, but when it came to the ban on the burkini and the woman was being escorted off the beach, people were actually cheering and clapping and saying go home. Yeah. So those are voices as well. As much as there are voices who are against it, the voices who are for it are also voices we have to count.
Yeah, of course, right? Yeah.
And so, it's going to be appeasing those voices that's going to make or break this factor.
And you also said that the right wing is something that's rising, so that suggests that there is a lot of voices that are.
It's not just it's not limited in France. It's in Belgium, Austria as well, I believe. It's spreading all across Europe.
A lot of politicians have said things, a lot of the politicians in France. One thing that was said was that the burqa is a symbol of Islamic extremism. Now when I say Islamic extremism, what's the first thing that comes to your head?
Some guy blowing himself up.
Okay, so terrorism, right? So we were at burqa, Islamic terrorism, Islamic extremism, terrorism. That connection, how do we, because you do it subconsciously,
yeah,
when you hear politicians say that, you went burqa, Islamic extremism, terrorism. So when you're hearing things like that, what do you guys think? Because politicians are playing a huge role. Subliminal messages, whether you think of it, automatically we all did it. Now, how do we oppose that when the politicians are saying things like that?
How do you?
It's very difficult, We have free access to education. We have the ability to be able to, we have so many books and so many resources to enlighten our minds. We're literally living in the next age of enlightenment. We have the internet, the greatest thing man has ever made. So much information at our disposal, at our hands to be able to use, and yet there's so many people who don't utilize it properly, and I think that's the problem in France. People who just aren't engaging the platforms there and having you know what? I'm sick and tired of hearing the terrorism stuff. Let's actually try understanding what it is. What's going on? And there's just not enough people doing it.
The only way to avoid falling into that trap
is education.
Making sure, because you can only enlighten yourself when you have that knowledge.
And empiricism. And for those who don't know, empiricism is quite a complex philosophical term.
Give us a quick 10 seconds. Quick breakdown. Let's go.
Empiricism is experiences. End of story.
Drop the mic.
And so empiricist, if you're an empiricist, you believe that everything you believe can only be experienced. Theory is nonsense. You have to experience it. So it's not just education. Alright, fair enough. I've read the theory. I understand why women wear burqas. I understand that it's a symbol of this is blah blah blah. But I haven't actually spoken to someone in a burqa. I haven't actually seen what's it like for her. I haven't heard her thoughts, what she thinks about this, or I haven't had a general conversation with her to try to understand. Oh, hey, she's just a normal person. But I think education is the more important one, but it's two things. Empiricism, going through the experience, meeting someone in it, and education.
And having an open mind.
I was about to say,
as long as you're in that mindset and you believe one thing, no matter who you speak to, if you're always ready to argue, there's nothing that's going to change about the way you interpret that situation.
Yeah.
Completely.
I think being narrow-minded is, you can't say it's a gift or a curse. I think it's a curse.
It's dangerous.
Because you don't want to be stepping into that territory.
It is.
Trust, I think personally it's all about trust. I feel as if as a world we have lost trust in one another. Yeah. And that's
if it's foreign,
triggered. If you don't want it,
if you have to go to the extent where we're not even going to negotiate. Because I was watching these talk shows, and a lot of the women who say they wear burqas, they're like, when we go to the airport, we remove it so they can see us and compare us to a passport. When we go to courts, we understand the jury need to see us. We know that. But they're saying we are happy for those in those situations where you need to see our face to show it. But it's gone to the point where there is interest. We don't even want to negotiate with you about what you're willing to work with. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't wear it. We don't want to see it. That kind of thing. So I think I agree with you.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that they actually do that, or when they're in court and for a jury they have to take you off. You know, that's understandable. You know, well done. You actually, you don't want to be a hindrance, because that's the thing, isn't it?
It's about cooperation with other people. It's a big thing. Like
I just want to finish off by quoting a really, really famous quote. You know, after the backlash of the burqa ban, when it just completely exploded in Twitter, the thing that was most retweeted, you know, was this quote by Arundhati Roy, and he just absolutely hits the nail on the head with it. Yeah, completely. She says it's not about the burqa, it's about coercion. Coercing someone out of a burqa is just as bad as coercing her into one. I think that literally summarizes the whole issue. You know, it drops the mic. It's just a pressing one, and it's completely wrong. Thank you guys, everyone, for watching us. Yeah,
we had a lot of fun.
We've had a lot of fun in this intellectual
Any questions, please redirect
to that DM.
If you have any questions for us as well, actually, you agreed or disagreed.
They will actually be back for episode 3, so please do ask questions and tune in, and we'll get those answered.
Yeah.
Please.
Don't forget to
like,
subscribe,
and DM me.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
This has been so much fun.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.